Well, Biden had quite a bit in terms of the pandemic on his first day. Starting with the bad news, the incoming administration let us know that they're inheriting a non-existent coronavirus vaccine distribution plan, and they're gonna have to start from scratch. I mean, who's really surprised by that? It was a massive disaster where they effectively said, as they've said for most aspects of the pandemic for the past 6 months at least, the states do it. That's basically what it was. And what do you know? It was a disaster in multiple states, and vaccine stores have run out. Well, why wouldn't it? You're not doing anything to make sure that we're producing enough. So anyway, it's a massive disaster, but we do have some action. Mr. Biden signed an executive order appointing Jeffrey Zients as the official COVID-19 response coordinator, who will report to the president in an effort to aggressively gear up the nation's response to the pandemic. The order also restores the Directorate for Global Health Security and Biodefense of the National Security Council, a group Mr. Trump had disbanded, in which, just looking forward, I'm assuming President Carlson will disband in right before COVID-26 gets us. But anyway, it's a fun cycle of American politics here. Let's see, we also have Biden reinstating ties with the World Health Organization, because remember when the president cut off ties with the WHO during the worst global pandemic in a century? That was a goof. Oh. Anyway, we're gonna be back with them, so that's good. We have a little bit more JR, but so far, what do you think?
Weird, a global pandemic, staying involved with the World Health Organization to make sure that there's a coordinated response to this global pandemic that spreads across international lines. Crazy how that works, but I'm glad we're back to elementary style logic.
Exactly. And remember, it wasn't just like the WHO he cut us off from. He also continually attacked the CDC.
Yeah.
And somehow hundreds of thousands of people died.
If we go back and think about the things we just went through for the past 4 years, we're gonna be like, that really did happen.
That did happen. Sharpie could happen. Jank and I were disagreeing a little bit on Twitter about who in the end was worse. Was it Trump or was it George W. Bush? We should have an event. We should have an hour-long debate, multiple people on each side actually trying to hash out our initial view. In 5 years, we'll look back with a little bit more perspective, but who is actually worse? But anyway, really fast, the issue with the pandemic isn't just the immediate public health crisis, although that is terrible. We also have the economic damage that it's doing to a lot of people because they either can't work, their jobs have been lost, a number of issues like that. Mr. Biden is, in response to that, moving to extend a federal moratorium on evictions and has asked agencies, including the Agricultural, Veterans Affairs, and Housing and Urban Development departments, to prolong a moratorium on foreclosures on federally guaranteed mortgages that was enacted in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The extensions all run through at least the end of March. And in addition to that, the president is also moving to continue a pause on federal student loan interest and principal payments through the end of September, although progressive groups and some congressional Democrats have pushed Mr. Biden to go much further and cancel up to $50,000 in student debt per person. And just to put it in perspective, saying some have pushed for it, you might think, oh, what did Ilhan Omar push for? No, Chuck Schumer said he should cancel $50,000. So if he doesn't, and he doesn't seem to want to, like that's a fairly extreme position in comparison to the Democratic caucus. If you got Schumer pushing for it, it ain't radical anymore, even in the way the establishment throws that term around.
Not radical anymore, John, but what about people? I mean, I paid off my $50,000. Why would you guys take away anyone else's $50,000 student debt? That's not fair. In fact, I want my $50,000 back.
Well, as I said yesterday in the show, I paid off my student debt, and you know who's in favor of it? This guy. Let's cancel it. Like it's crazy. Like if you admit, if you say, and people tweet, like I'm gonna tweet later today, we should cancel all student loan debt, and I'm gonna get I almost swore, some person is going to say, well, I already paid off mine. That to me is like tweeting like, I love the feeling when your foot contacts the soft belly of a puppy. Like what's wrong with you that you'd publicly admit, like, okay, you can have this horrible position and maybe feel a little bit of shame about what an awful selfish person you are, but to like hold it up as like a symbol of how awesome you are is sick.
Yeah, it's so weird, but no, that's the basis for why we can continue to push our capitalistic approach to put people in the dirt in order for you to just stand on top of that mound of dirt and still have nothing. So all you have left on your hand is this dirt that you buried someone else with, but you still have nothing either. So as long as we keep having this fighting amongst ourselves from people who all deserve some kind of an equal footing to get somewhere in this country, as long as we keep having this fight, they can continue to do this to us. So you can complain about, oh, what about them? Instead of being like, okay, where do we go from here to help my life? I paid off my $50,000. Now what can I do? How can I benefit because of this change for everyone else? It's supposed to help everybody. It's a thing called a country. We work together to get further.
Exactly. By the way, I'm gonna throw one last one out there. So you remember how maybe the only thing Trump did to drain the swamp was a federal ban for a period of time on lobbying after leaving the administration. And it was literally like on the way out, like he grabbed his bag, he put on his hat, and then he canceled that regulation. Like it was so see-through, you con man. Anyway, but you're not president anymore. And so Biden reinstated it. So the joke's on you, kind of. And so that's good. And there's other stuff too, like go do some reading. We can't summarize literally everything, but that's a lot for day one. It's not, my day one would have looked different. I'm imagining Jayar's would have looked different than mine. You can fill in the blanks however you want, but there's a lot, that's better than any day of Trump being president.
Well, again, we're starting from the starting point. We can see what we can get from here, but I'm trying not to get too in the, oh yeah, he's done so many, we'll see what it goes. I want to play it even. And I don't expect necessarily horrible things to happen either. Honestly, actually, I'm pretty optimistic, actually. And I will be disappointed if we have to win, because I think it'll happen. But when we have to call out some of the things that he isn't doing correctly, because this is gonna be that way, because there's always gray area, there's always a different route you can take. And I think he's super progressive, so we'll find it.
Yep, and my hope is that Kamala Harris, who definitely wants to run for president, I am hoping that she is savvy enough to actually use these 4 years to push for progressive wins that she can run on. I think that it goes kind of against her actual politics, but I am hoping that she at least has the self-interest to push for that. So we will see. And by the way, as we close out this happy half hour, that was a half an hour on the damage report of good news. Weird. Anyway, crazy. I will also say, and this is sort of piggybacking off of what Jayar said. We'll talk more about this and more formally. I have no interest in becoming a cheerleader for the Biden administration. Like I can think of like one or two that I would probably end up kind of being a cheerleader for, and he ain't it. He ain't in that group. So we're gonna talk about the good news. We're not gonna be one of those left channels that is gonna pretend that none of that happened or matters, because that's crazy. But at the same time, we are gonna hold him accountable. And when he doesn't deliver on things, including things that we talked about in this segment, desires that we have, we're going to criticize him. And so some of you in the audience might get uncomfortable by that. And in the end, we will probably end up losing some of our audience when we go back to, as TYT did, when it went from Bush to Obama, and then TYT decided, oh no, we're still gonna criticize the president. TYT got attacked a ton during the Obama years for being critical of a Democratic president. So we're gonna experience that too. Thank you for watching while you did. If you end up leaving us because we're critical of a Democrat, but it's gonna happen.
And it's not just to strictly be critical of a Democrat for the sake of being critical. It's based on policies that they said they would carry out that they maybe didn't or won't. It's based off of a fight or allowing Republicans to take over that fight and then carry that narrative or push you in a certain way when you can easily get pushed in the correct way by other folks who are speaking out. So it's based on things that actually would help the country if they don't follow through on those things, or if they promise it and it's supposed to go that way, or if what they're proposing just isn't working and we're like, hey, try this because we told you that didn't work with other folks. We'll see what those policies are, but it's not just based on the fact to do it. It's based in real reason, because when Obama did something right, we said so then too. It's just the way it's gonna be.
Awesome. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.